My name is Wenda Nichols. I'm from Trussville, Alabama, and quilting keeps me company while he's deployed. And the story behind that is my HQ story, which starts with my beginning my quilting back about a year and a half ago, so I'm really new at all this. And I bought a domestic sewing machine, took some quilting classes. The place where I take my classes is Heart to Heart in Trussville, Alabama, and the owners had one of the handy quilter sit-down machines available that they had just gotten in and set up, and they were having a big special running on it for that weekend, and I went in probably 3 or 4 times looking at it, trying to decide if that might be what I need, something larger than my domestic machine. I was kind of getting tired of doing stitch in the ditch, so I thought I would move on up to something a little easier to handle, and I went in several times, looked at it. Then I also looked at the HQ Avante, which they also have displayed in their store, and had Cindy demo that for me. And I went back in the next day. I just kept thinking about it, and couldn't make my mind up, and went in, got her to demo for me again, and I decided that aside from making the quilt sandwiches and having to baste, which I absolutely detest, that using the Avante would be much easier because I wouldn't have to do that. That'd be one step that I could skip. And also moving the machine over the fabric for me was a lot less mental challenging than moving the fabric under the needle. So in my mind I had that decision made. It was just that was a very unplanned purchase, and I had not talked to my husband about it because he didn't know that I was even looking for a quilting machine. And he is in the service, has been in the service 32 years. He's stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I work in Trussville, Alabama. I work 7 on 7 off. So on my off week, I normally pack up all my quilting supplies and drag it to Dover, Tennessee, where we have a house, and I quilt while I'm off on that week, and then I go home and I work my week. Now my husband is mostly overseas, 7 to 9 months out of the year, and sometimes when he is gone for that long period of time, I usually stay in Trussville, Alabama. So since my daughter just recently got married and moved to Hawaii, and my husband being gone since May and not coming back probably till January, I knew that I was going to have a lot of extra time. So I called him on the phone and explained to him what I was doing, that I was looking at some different machines. He asked me several questions about it. I pretty much told him I was going to be spending a lot of time all by myself, me and my little puppy dog Draco, because he was leaving and my daughter was leaving, and I said, would give me something to do. And of course he had, asked me some questions about, after you quilt for family and friends, well, who are you going to quilt for then? And I said, well, I'm going to quilt some for myself because I haven't kept any for myself so far. I've given them all away. And then he said, well, after you quilt however many we want, then what are you going to do? And I said, what difference does it make? I will find something to do with it. And so he just said, girl, go get you one. And so I went and got me one. That day I called Cindy at the store and told her, if you guys take American Express, I'll be right down there to fill out the paperwork. And so I went and purchased one, and I'm not very good at free motion, as you can tell. This quilt's been done with the pantograph. I mostly do those until I get a little more comfortable. I do not have the pro stitcher, and I put in my HQ story hoping that my husband might take the hint that I need the pro stitcher really bad. But that's pretty much my story. I keep myself company with my Avante 18, and I plan to be using it a lot. So that's my story.